Welcome back to the Hero Whispers. So glad to have you guys here with us today on the show with your host, Jeannie Marie. I am Chief Supergirl and your host, and happy to be back bringing you amazing women and their life stories and helping you with what you need to do to thrive in the real world. So in case you don't know, Supergirls is a platform where we inspire and empower college women to launch from college to life. That means helping you with the tools you need to navigate this crazy world we live in, whether it be mentoring or networking or career clarity. And today we have an amazing guest who is also on that same mission, Deborah Olshan Cooper, who really is out there just ripping it up and helping so many people like yourselves find amazing dream jobs. So I'm so happy to have her on the show. I met her through none other than a women's network called Women Who Lunch, so check it out. Let's introduce Deborah. Deborah Olshan Cooper has been an entrepreneur and CEO of several companies in the past 30 years, including Real Life Communications, one of New York's premier luxury fashion, entertainment, music and beauty public relations, marketing, and social media firm. Wow. When she moved to South Florida, she opened Fresh Connect Public Relations and Marketing, where she steered several clients into well-known brands. In addition, while a short stint in New Jersey, she began Daycation Today, a full-service staycation concept allowing mothers to take a day for themselves by providing services, treatments, educational consulting to give moms a me day, quote unquote. Deborah started Your Career Design Lab to bring the same sensibility of 30 years of writing and producing clients' stories to bring them to their rightful place in the spotlight, whether on TV, newspaper, or in magazines. Deborah has experience designing and producing other people's stories to garner the attention they deserve. Her passion is young adults and has been exceptionally successful in identifying and creating young graduates' stories in a way that sends their resume to the top. Clients work one-on-one with Ms. Cooper and then role play to ensure they encompass their story. Upon completion, Ms. Cooper helps young graduates find their rightful place in finding their career through her varied networking contacts. Ms. Cooper guides you step by step through the career land fields and into their perfect career. Welcome to the show, Deb. Honored to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Jeannie. I'm so excited.
Super accomplished, fierce female queen that you are, and having all these businesses, you're keeping it moving. Now you have your career design lab, which, what a cool name, by the way. It makes it sound like it's a fun thing to do, looking for a job. What made you want to start the Career Design Lab?
You know what made me start is, as you so mentioned in my bio, is for 30 years I would have people coming saying, I want to be famous, or I have something I want to sell on television, you know, in those days, like TV and magazines and newspapers and things. So I would sit with them and say, okay, what idea do you have, or what kind of business do you do? And we would craft stories that would be of interest to people, you know, maybe something people never knew about or want to know more about, or fashion, or whatever it is. And about 2.5 years ago, I had friends of mine, call me up and say, Deborah, you know, so-and-so just got an internship at a place in Chicago, but she really doesn't like it. And I go, well, just have her speak to her boss, you know, tell her, well, she can't do that. And I said, what? Like, what do you mean can't do that? Can't go ask for what you want? And over a while, Jeannie, I had a lot of parents call me and say, Deborah, can you help so-and-so? I'm like, well, why don't they just go do that? And I realized that there was something missing in this marketplace, in this place of college kids doing their work, working themselves, but missing the fact of who they are and what they ultimately want to be.
Okay, I know, because you and I have totally bonded on this, that it's definitely missing out there.
Yeah,
kudos
it really
to the
is.
kudos to the colleges for providing fantastic career services groups and counseling and stuff like that, but the numbers are not in their favor, right? There's thousands of kids at these schools, and there's like 5 counselors, and even though they can all be phenomenal, there's just not enough of them to go around. They're like gold, especially when they get to like our girls, junior and senior year, and they're looking for internships, and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do when they graduate, and they're freaking out. They have loans due, blah, blah, blah. There's help. They need help. You know, they need their big sisters, which we are.
Well, that's cool. Exactly. And what I say is that we're your GPS. You know, sometimes you have a direction, like you know where the 7-Eleven is, you know, and you just, you know, because you go there like every day. But sometimes you got like a lot on your mind. So you put in your Waze or your GPS and it says turn right here, turn left here, and you've arrived at your destination. That's what I feel with the kids today in college. They're brilliant and they've got direction. But like you were saying about colleges jobs are to take, with all due respect, take your money for your 4 years. They don't really concentrate on getting the kids jobs. I think that will change as the trajectory of coronavirus and everything changes. But for right now, their job is to get you into college. They don't really pay that much attention of where you go afterwards because there's no ROI on that, you know? And so what kids need today is that kind of one-on-one curating of who they are and what they're about. And that's what we do.
Love it. I love how you took all of that fantastic experience that you have and are now funneling it for the greater good. It's bound to bring, I mean, and you already have a lot of success, but it's just bound to continue bringing success because you're putting so much good into the universe, and it's like awesome. So, and I love that. I love that you call it the GPS. That is so great.
But it's so true, you know, and you're absolutely right. Like somebody was asking me, I was on another podcast, and somebody asked me, like, what makes you happy in the morning? I go, just knowing that I am serving the better good and I'm helping these kids find their passions, put it to a paycheck, find the careers of their dreams, and most importantly, finding themselves in this process. You know what just came up for me today, Jeannie, as we were talking is women, us girls, we're conversationalists, right? We're at a party and, you know, our husbands or our boyfriends or whatever can say, oh, God, you talk so much, or what are you talking about? How do you have so much to say? But the point is, as we're talking about right now, and it came up for me that that's the whole point, that as women, we are conversationalists. So I want to help these young girls turn interviewing into a conversation. Because if you can turn your interview into a conversation and make people feel who you are, because I always go back to the Maya Angelou quote, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget the way you made them feel. And that's kudos to us. We can make people feel things. That's what women do. And so I want to bring that to these young college kids to let them feel themselves and be able to converse that.
No, I mean, there's so much to be said for that. And also it helps them feel more confident in when they're in these, you know, these meetings, feeling that they're walking in their own power. And like, no one really talked about that like that when we were growing up, right? Like, it was like, just get a job, you know, it was totally different. I mean, you definitely tried to do something that you liked and all that, but there weren't all these extra love, help things happening. And I'm so glad that it's come to this now and that we can really help them, like one girl at a time. So I applaud you, and I'm loving that we're in the same lane. Okay. Yeah. So tell everyone, I love this too, this technique that you have called the ta-da list. What is that?
Well, you know, here's the thing, and I love that you asked that, because what I was finding when I was working with a lot of kids, it was that, oh, Deborah, well, this is my resume. This is what I've done. This is what I've taken 15 AP classes, and I'm taking all honors in college. I'm like, I don't care. Like, who cares? Do you know, because that's how they were brought up. And it just shows, especially again with the COVID, I know this is terrible to say in a way, but there's so many great things that are coming out of COVID right now. And that is that it's an even playing field. And we're going into an internal, inside out paradigm. Last year kids were looking on at this time kids were looking on Instagram. Who's going to the football games? Who's having a better time at college? Oh, look at the sorority sisters. They're having a better time than I'm having at college. And you're looking outside yourself. This year, everybody has to thinkubate. And I kind of came up with that terminology because it's time to think about yourself. Who are you? What do you want to become? And so Tada was just like Tada. And then what I'm finding is when I help these kids find their story or that little nugget, and I'll tell you a story, they go, oh my God, I didn't know at 12 years old. Oh, I know why I want to be in music now. It's not because I took 15,000 classes, it's because when I was 12 and I was playing around on my garage band, I taught myself how to do piano, ukulele, and guitar. And I recorded songs and I actually got 10,000 people to listen to me. And you're going, there's your story. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's just things you're proud of, things you're most proud of. In fact, I just worked with a girl the other day. I love this story. So she was working at the Four Seasons at night and then going to school and taking 18 credits at FIU. And she wants to be in sales. So she's like, well, I did this and I did that. And I go, I don't know. I just feel something's in your background. Can you tell me a little bit? So she says, well, I know this is nothing, but at 4 years old, I didn't like salami sandwiches that my mom was making. And I really wanted to buy food at the cafeteria, but she wouldn't let me. And one day she opened my Dora backpack and all this $20 fell out of it. And my mom said, Sophia, what is going on here? How do you have so much money? And she had to fess up that she sold each slice of salami sandwich for $4. And she would go nuts on the salami, like telling the people, oh my God, the salami is so great. I go, you're done. Forget everything you did. You go into a sales job telling that story that when you were 4, you're done. You're hired. And she goes, oh my God, you're right. I was selling before I ever knew it.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of them don't even know what sales is. But yeah, that is a great, salami. She must have been Italian, first of all. To have salami sandwiches.
But how smart of her to not even just sell the whole sandwich, but to sell each slice. I mean, that shows the thinking without even knowing it. And Gina, you just brought up something really great, is that kids feel like they've got to tell like what they've done. But what employers and people want to know is, who are you and what value are you going to bring to us? Nobody cares anymore where you went to school, unless you're a doctor, lawyer, an Indian chief. No one cares about that. They want to know who you are and what value you are bringing to the company.
Yeah, I had a guest speaker because, as you guys all know, I'm a professor, and now I'm teaching at a new school. It's called SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, and I had a guest speaker, and he was speaking to that, where he said, my first job, I couldn't sell my experience. I didn't really have any experience. I had to sell my potential, right? Like, what is possible for if you hire me? Like, I had to go there. And so I thought that was really cool, because how many times in life are we doing that? A lot.
Oh,
right.
Exactly. Well, Tina, I love that, because that's exactly what I'm helping the kids to do, to reframe the accomplishment, and it's who you are, what your passions are, and what passions have led you to what you want to become. Right. And the potential moving forward to a company. Absolutely.
Well, you mentioned that, it's not where you went to school. It's not, what you maybe what you majored in, maybe not. You mentioned that maybe it's not everything in the experience and you got straight A's or whatever, that's important, but it's more about who you know too. So talk a little bit about that and how you coach women and men on networking.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So networking, is everything that I've done in my life. And it's so important now. I was just talking to someone else about that today, is that there's, today it's all about the tribes and your